long. Yes. Okay, so today we are going to talk about, before that, today is our 7th class, and I'd like to welcome you guys all. Actually, we are going to be discussing about assessment and evaluation in educational psychology, a comprehensive overview. Okay, so let's jump into it. Okay, learning objective, that means today what will we learn, or not today actually, after ending this, after ending these slides, what can we learn from these slides? So let's talk about that. The definition, what do we mean by assessment and evaluation in educational psychology? Okay. Question marks could have been gone wrong. Okay, no problem. So, educational psychology, the definition of educational psychology, and what do we mean by assessment and evaluation. Okay, but beforehand, I'd like to ask you one thing. Anyone can give me an example, or anyone can give me a thought of assessment and evaluation? Anyone? Any of you? What does that mean, assessment? What does that mean, evaluation? Anyone? In your own words, no problem.
Assessment means
continuous.
Assessment is process oriented and evaluation is product oriented.
Pause it. Okay, so anyone, please? Assessment.
Is it process oriented and evaluation is a product oriented?
No. I'm not talking about process and product or the orientation. I'm just asking you, what do you mean, or what it comes to in your mind whenever you are listening this kind of word, or you are saying this kind of word, assessment and evaluation.
Assessment is the process of checking someone's present knowledge of a temporal.
Okay, checking someone's present knowledge. Assessment, maybe. Okay, then.
Evaluation
how our things it's going to be work.
Sorry.
In a course, if I say in a course, how the materials is going to work, or what's the material, and what we should use for students' background or age-related thing. And evaluation is the overall process or overall evaluation is overall assessment. We can say that what a student learn and.
Okay, if I say assess him, judge him. Great. Assessment, judging, maybe. Okay. If I say evaluate him, that means
considering all of the condition.
Quite a bit judging also.
Yes.
But
assessment and evaluation are quite similar and synonymous.
Right. Yes.
Is it clear?
Yes.
Great. So, assessment, assess him, assess her. Evaluation, evaluate him, evaluate her. That means examine.
Yes.
Examine. Compare and contrast, or using the comparison and contrastisms, so that we can find out whether this thing is going to work or not. Okay? This thing is going to work or not. Suppose this is the marker. Okay, we can see clearly that there is no ink here. I mean, a very little ink. But if consider it non-transparent, so we can never know whether there are some ink or not, unless check it. Unless checking it. That's right. So, assessment and evaluation basically are some checkings.
Yes.
Basically, assessment and evaluations are checking. Okay, what kind of checking? How does it work, and why should we, everyone, why should we work with that? That's going to be discussed in these slides. Okay, so about the basic form, the base of this norm, checking is the most important thing in assessment and evaluation. Okay, there are many differences, there are many talking, but the base are check. Okay, assess. In order to assess, we have to check. In order to evaluate, we have to check also. Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
Great. Okay, so the definition we'll be learning. What do you mean by assessment and evaluation in educational psychology? We'll be learning that after by the end of this slides. We'll be learning that. Okay, so differentiate the differences. Okay, understand the distinction between formative and summative assessment. So there are some formative assessment, there are some summative assessment. We'll be talking about that very briefly in upcoming slides. So we'll be learning that also. Okay, explore, that means key principles of effective assessment and evaluation. Okay, so the principles of assessment and evaluation, which definitely is effective. Okay, so the understanding, familiarize with the various types of assessment, including diagnostic and alternative methods. Okay, that's the most important part we will be covering, and that's the most important part for your final examination also. The various types of assessment. Definitely there are many types of assessment. Which one will work for what? Which one will be appropriate for particular reasoning, for particular age group, for particular social group, for particular economic group, for particular country and culture also. This is, we are going to be talking about the most important part of these topics. Assessment and evaluation. Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so discuss, analyze real-world examples and learn best practices to implement in teaching and learning. Well, the understanding and discussion were quite interlinked. So basically, we'll be discussing there the scope, and then we'll be discussing again there. I mean, which one is appropriate for where and how we could imply on the implementation of the discussion. Okay, so let's jump to the next slide. Okay, introduction to assessment. Let's see, definition. I would like to tell to you that, pen and paper on the table, and please write it down, the definition. Everyone, pen and paper on the table. Come on, that's the thumb rule of my class. Even if I say it or not, you have to be prepared with your pen and paper on the table. And please write it down, definition. And definitely, hey everyone, please listen to me very carefully one thing. If you are writing this definition in your final exam, do not forget to write this thing also. Golden Lean 2020. Yes, Golden Lean 2020. Okay, so let's see what Gordon Lean has said, 2020. Assessment is the process of gathering, interpreting, and using information to enhance student learning. Well, definitely, assessment means checking, means examination. That's the part and parcel of the most intrinsic part of our learning process. Definitely. Unless examining, we can never know how the student will work, how the student had understood everything I taught him or her. Am I right?
Right.
So that's the basic definition of introduction to assessment. I mean, there's the basic definition of assessment. Assessment is the process of gathering, interpreting, and using information to enhance student learning. Okay, done. So the purpose. Why do we need that? Okay. Provides insights into students' progress, identifies trends and weaknesses, and informs teaching strategies. Well. Let's talk about that in very brief. And please understand that there are many things. If you understand these two lines now very precisely, then this whole slideshow will going to be very easy for you. Let's talk. provide insights into students' progress. Okay, basically assessment gives us insight of student progress, how my student have prospered, have progressed. Okay, how my students have progressed. See, for example, in the midterm examination, I taught you something, I asked you something, and you have written it in your exam scripts, right?
Right.
So I know how many of you have understood educational psychology, how many of you understood, what was the question at your midterm? Maslow's hierarchy of needs. How many of you know Maslow's hierarchy of needs? How many of you know the implementation or the examples or the definition and everything, every little bit about, just example, Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Those who have got 8, 7.5 really have a good understanding about that particular topic. Those who have got 3 or 4, got an average understanding of that particular topic. So I know who understood in which level. See the progress. The student's progress. Okay, then identify strength. Okay, identify strengths and weaknesses. Well, some of you have written very constructive way. Some of you have written in a very constructive way. That means I told you, please, for the short notes, please write the structure. For the broader questions, please write in the essay structure. Now, I know how many of you really, how many of you are capable of writing an essay properly? How many of you are capable of writing paragraph properly? Now I know what was your strength, what was your weaknesses. Well, I do not know. If I could get a chance to give you the scripts, then you could also know my feedback, and I could also discuss about your strengths and weaknesses, particular person by person, person to person, definitely. See, by taking assessment, we can know, as the educators or the teachers or the lecturers, whatever you say. But we can know by assessing you guys, your scripts, what are your strengths, what are your weaknesses. Okay, then informs teaching strategies. Well. Okay, you guys may be aware of it that at the first class after midterm, I came here with a question paper. I do not know how many other post teachers have done that. I don't know, maybe they have done that, maybe they haven't done that yet. They will do that afterwards. Maybe they will not do that, but that's not of my concern. My concern is I came with your question paper and I explained which one I wanted from you guys and which one you have failed to give it to me.
Right.
So basically that's the teaching strategy. Okay, so my strategy is initiate, response, and feedback. See, you guys have know that. That's another course. That's from another course maybe, huh? Initiate, response, and feedback. So basically these things are very interlinked. If you can know one thing very good or very properly, then another thing could get easier for you. Okay, so that's the teaching strategy. See, the purpose understood.
Right, sir.
Okay, yes, sir. Right, understood. The question was understood. That was irrelevant answer. Okay, so example. Conducted a pre-test to determine students' prior knowledge about World War II before starting the historic read. Oh, well, for example, they are basically giving example of the warm-up activity. That's the example of warm-up activity. Basically, we do some warm-up activity. Okay, even today, I have done some warm-up activity. Beforehand, before jumping into the first slide, I asked you, what do you know by assessment? Any of you, anything, any thought. See, that's called warm-up activity. So, warm-up activity is basically the prior thing which basically we assess to know your level of understanding, or we initiate your stimulus, we initiate your cognition, then you could respond me very well, very properly, very clinically, I should say. Clinical. Basically, this word clinical I am using very now and then nowadays. Okay, so that's the whole thing about, at least the introduction of assessment. Did you got that?
Yes.
Yeah, understood.
Great. Only one person. Do you have any question on assessment? Or at least something? Okay, have you got something about assessment? What does that mean? Assessment? At least something? Everyone?
Yes, sir. Interpreting. Applying.
Okay, evaluation. Let's talk about evaluation very precisely. So, the definition. Evaluation involves making judgments about, first of all, write it down please. With name, Scriven 1991. And the examination, I would like you guys to write the names. Obviously, if you have written the definition but without the name, then the marks will come direct half, without any consideration. Okay, so the definition of evaluation. We already have learned something about assessment. Yes, the smiling girl also. Please smile at me or smile at the slides, please. Okay, so we already have learned something about assessment. So now we're going to be learning about evaluation also. Let's start. Evaluation involves making judgments about the quality or effectiveness or educational process or outcome. Oh, most important thing here. Please underline the thing. Quality or effectiveness. Quality or effectiveness. Underline it in one. Of educational process or outcome. Then process or outcome. Underline process or outcome and quality and effectiveness, please. I'd like to invite that last bench girl to come to the second bench, please. Yes, yes, sir. Yes. Who else do you think I'm asking for? Yes. See, she's a good girl. And she's very attentive to the study. That's why she wants to be here, but she is too shy to speak up. So I heard her inner voice, then I called her out. Okay, so evaluation involves making judgments. So the judgment word goes to evaluation very properly. Okay? About the quality or effectiveness on educational process or outcome. Okay, while what do we say? Assessment. While assessment is basically dealing with students' outcome and students' strengths and weaknesses, evaluation works in an umbrella term. Okay, works in a holistic way. Basically, it judges the quality or effectiveness. Well, let's see. No. We should go slow and steady. Slow and steady wins the race. Okay, so why? Okay, where are we? Okay, assessment and evaluation. Assessment, while assessment basically examines the strengths and weaknesses of students, everyone, the assessment basically examines the strengths and weaknesses of students. Evaluation basically evaluate the strengths and weaknesses of that assessment. Everyone, please understand that very core thing so that you do not get confused while writing assessment and evaluation. Assessment basically examines the students' strengths and weaknesses. Okay, for example, I give you, I taught you tense. For example, I taught you tense. I said, I eat rice. Which tense is it? Present tense. Present tense, present indefinite. Okay, great. So that's the assessment. Basically the question is the assessment tool of giving the feedback. I am basically examining his ability to recognize the tense perfectly, and he recognized it perfectly. Done. Okay. So that's assessment. And evaluation is basically examining the assessment, the strengths and weaknesses of this assessment. Okay, if my assessment is good, better, best, or poor, okay, whether my assessment is relevant or irrelevant, whether this assessment is giving us the correct result or not, that's called evaluation. Assessment examines the students' strengths and weaknesses, and evaluation examines the strengths and weaknesses of
the assessment.
Great. The linear and the simplest definition of the difference between assessment and evaluation I could ever heard. Got it?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so definition is gone. Then, yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Evaluation specifically happens after a course or semester.
Well, not necessarily. It could happen within the course of semester. We'll be talking about that.
Both
Yes.
of the assessment and
Indeed. It can come anywhere, anytime. No problem of it. Okay? So, purpose ensures the instructional goals are met and measures the effectiveness of curricula and teaching methodologies. See, I said the teaching pedagogy or teaching methodology, in which method we are teaching, in which method we are asking questions, basically is the purpose of evaluation. Okay? Evaluation means basically assessment basically evaluates the student's strengths and weaknesses. Evaluation basically examines everyone, teachers also.
Okay.
Yes, we actually go through under some circumstances where we go through the evaluation process. Our UGC basically evaluate the teachers and the guidelines, everything. They give us the guidelines and they evaluate whether we are following the guidelines or not. Okay, so they are actually evaluates the teachers and the universities, and the rankings always came up. Which university stood first? Which university stood? Not first, second, third, fourth, or the last. Okay, so evaluation is an umbrella term. It's a bigger process. Assessment, smaller process. Evaluation, holistic process. Is that clear? Okay, ensures the instructional goals are met and measures the effectiveness of curricula and teaching methodology. Curriculum means syllabus, curriculum. Okay, whether I am teaching you a particular thing, okay, whether the curriculum meets its end, whether the curriculum meets its end or not, that's going to be evaluated by evaluator team or evaluation. Okay, and what I want you to learn, whether you are learning it properly, whether my strategies, my techniques are going to work or are working in a proper way or an improper way, that is the concern of evaluation. Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
Great. So, for example, reviewing final portfolios in art class to assess skill development and creativity. Well, that's basically portfolio. We can give another example that I am, the question paper for the midterm examination, final examination, then my question paper basically evaluated by the evaluated team, the HODs, the BOTs, that whether this question serves the purpose that students could get relied on these question papers, or student can get assessed in a specific, particular and effective way. They will be basically evaluating my question papers. Okay,
Yes.
so I am asking you, I'm assessing your skills, and they are evaluating my question papers. That's how evaluation and assessment are different in some stages.
Yes.
Correct?
Yes.
yes.
Okay, let's get into another thing. Okay, the differences here. I want you to write it down, everyone, and make it a box, basically. Well, that was a box, but I do not know why the linings are gone. There were lines. There were lines. There were lines, definitely. Please, make lines and write it in a box. Everyone, please. Today is a good winter morning, huh? Foggy winter morning.
Yes.
I really really like the winter mornings.
Yes.
We do, so do we, that's right. Any summer lover here? Oh, great. Because if you were there, then there were some problems. Okay, so these are the aspects in which they are different. Okay, the assessments part, the evaluation part. In which aspect they are different, basically, that we will talk about. They are basically talk about. So please write it in a box. So make lines. I do not know why my lines got disappeared from this slide. There were.
It happens actually, sir. It
There were
happens many
lines.
times with me and with my team, with others also.
These are some
Technical faults.
these are some side effects of internet or side effects of technologies. Yes, sir.
No, someone asked you a question about
Yes, sir. Please.
And he's
post
answering
learning.
right.
You told that the evolution is ongoing through.
Yes,
Right.
it's an ongoing process.
But you there in the slide is the final stage, something of post.
Yes, definitely. Their methodology basically is a method. Okay, and this slide is basically inspired, or basically I made this slide by those books, reference books, which I am going to be talking about at the later part. But apart from that particular methodology, many things could happen. And
Yes.
basically, I am giving the lecture based upon my understanding.
Yes.
And I am basically seeing in this university, oh well, not in this university, everywhere in Bangladesh, because UGC is basically governing these things. So in every university, they are basically saying that it's an ongoing process and evaluation could happen at any time. So that's why basically I have told you that. Okay, but which one we will discuss, or which one we will write on the exam? Which one will be correct? Okay, the corrected one is, if I ask you to draw this diagram or draw this table or write this table, you will be answering according to this table. And if I tell you that what you understand by that, then you can tell both. Yes, sir, I understand by reading these books and by reading these reference books that it's an end result, it's an end process. After ending something, the methodology said, the writers have said that it will be an end process. After ending a semester or ending something, we will evaluate. But in Bangladesh, or in our present condition, in our own experience, we can say that this could happen anytime, even within the process. See, clear, everything?
Yes.
Great. That's basically we call point of views. We always appreciate point of views. And basically there's no day and night, there are always twilight.
Yes, sir.
No black and white, always gray area. Am I correct?
Yes.
The girl, the first bench girl maybe. Hey, what's your name? Sorry, I forgot. Excuse me. What's your name? Me. Sorry, I forgot. Okay, so let's talk about that. Which aspect they are basically different. Purpose. The purpose of assessment is improve learning outcomes of learners. See, basically that means the learning outcome of learners that will be improved, but there is nothing called learners. But see, there are something which is implied. Okay? They are not going to be talking about everything, or they are not going to write everything, but there are something hidden. We have to find it out. We have to know that yes, there are something that is hidden. See, they can never write everything, because if they want to write everything, then the books will be very large in volumes. So they do not want to do that. But here, improve learning outcomes. The assessment purpose is to improve learning outcomes of the learners. And evaluation, the purpose of evaluation is judge the quality or value of outcomes. Got it? Come on, it's very self-explanatory. It's quite easy words they are using. Okay, so the timing. The assessment timing, ongoing, formative, or during the learning. Okay, the ongoing process. Yes, we can talk about that. Assessment timing is ongoing. Evaluation, final stage, summative or post-learning. That means after learning we can evaluate, or basically final stage, or after the whole summation we can talk about the evaluation. But, well, that's basically I have taken from a book, a reference book, and I will be uploading this one slide so you can check the reference. Oh, now even you can check that.
The last slide.
Okay, the evaluation thesaurus, measurement, evaluation, and teaching. Oh, this one, the Pearson 11th edition. The Golan and Lane 2020, measurements and evaluation in teaching. So they basically gave us that theoretical diagram. Okay, so that's correct. Definitely, I mean, correct means their point of view is that yes, we definitely acknowledge that, but in some of the cases the exception could happen. In some of the cases the exception could happen. But if this table happens in your final examination, then you have to write this one only. Correct?
Yes.
But if I want your opinion, you can give your opinion. If you think this one is 100% correct, everyone, if you think this one is 100% correct, no problem. If this is your opinion, I don't have any problem. But if you have another opinion, then give example, give logic, I will recognize your opinion also. Correct?
Yes.
Done. Okay, the focus. The focus of assessment is specific learning process. Okay? That means within the periphery, within the periphery or boundary of learning process, basically assessment works on. And the evaluation's focus is overall product or result. That means what is the actual value of student learning all of these things. Okay, let's talk about that. See, the real life example, we are basically evaluating our course now within the course. For example, I'm asking you a question. Why do we want to learn, or what is the basic outcome of our real life? How could it align by our real life, real world situation, educational psychology? Why should we need to read that? Why do we need to read that? Why should we read that? Why should we need to read that?
Educational psychology.
Yeah, why? Why? I asked you this question. I do not know, some of you may remember at the very first class or second class. Why should we need to read that? Well, educational psychology shapes our psychology, shapes our thinking, shapes our mind, so that we can go to the outside world and work. Whichever work we do, in future or in near future or in far future, we could do that effectively because we already shaped our learning, we already shaped our thinking, we already shaped our mind in a critical way. So everywhere we do any work, we can think it critically, then the result could happen anything other than the thing without the thinking. That's why we need to learn that. Even if we do not choose, we do not want to become an educator, this thing really important because that shapes our mind, shapes our thinking. And if your thinking is sufficient enough, sophisticated enough, you can do better at any place in this world. That's why this thing is important. How our education works. Why we, even after, from the very beginning of our childhood, we are learning English. We cannot learn English properly. We have not learned English properly. Why? Why we cannot speak English properly? Why we cannot write academic English? So these are the things, these are the questions, these are the questions should occur in our mind, and these are the questions and the answers should be formatively formed within the mind of yourself. So by doing this course, these questions are coming into our mind, and that's the basic outcome. That's the reason why you should take this course, because of your betterment of your life. Sir? Okay, thank you. So, overall product or result. Overall product or result within the progression of this course. Have this course ended?
No, no, sir.
Have this course ended?
No, sir.
Still, we can evaluate the overall product or result. See, a real life example. Okay. Assessments examples are quizzes, teachers' feedback, reflection, evaluation, grades, course reviews, certification. Okay, these are basic. I mean, that's a basic thing we can learn about. Okay, so I think more or less we at least understood something. I will never say that you will understand everything in this classroom. No, that will never happen. That's why we basically record it, because after going to your home or your place, you can re-watch these videos, you can re-watch and that's why I basically want you guys to write the notes of the class. You guys take notes, then go to your place, revise the notes, revise or review the videos, then you can learn more. But at the class, I can give you at least at best 10 to 15% understanding, or at best 20% understanding, not more than that. 80% of understanding basically happens in your place, in your work, your study table. Okay, so types of assessment. Everyone, write the whole thing quickly. Four types: formative, summative, diagnostic, alternative. We already, I think some of you could know that. Some of you
We knew only two,
Formative
formative and summative.
Okay, great. From the course, syllabus design.
Testing and evaluation.
Huh?
Testing and evaluation. We
That's
have
a
a
course?
course.
Yes.
Yes. Great. So basically, you guys know about assessment also.
Yes, sir, and evaluation also.
Great.
Sir.
Haha. That's why basically this slide could come to you very easy, or at least familiar. I would not say easy, I would not say hard, I would say familiar.
A bit more lengthy.
Quickly, everyone, quickly. 4 words. Write everything here, you can see.
Example short thing. Support thing class.
Please write those down. Everything.
Let me see.
Because I want you guys to recall what you guys have written here for this class. You guys are too busy, I know. You guys are too busy. You guys are very important persons to this world. So you guys could not have much time to your place to read and revise. So I want you guys to read here, revise here. You guys have much important work to do. Some of you would have to save the world from the aliens. Some of you would have to go watch a movie, go to the places, and you guys all have to do full-time work. I already know that. Please maybe. School section. Hey, can anyone tell me the name of this thing? The name of this thing, the whole thing?
Exercise.
Huh?
Exercise.
Anyone? Sorry?
I said USDs.
It's not a desk. Yes, it has a specific name.
Rostrum. Rostrum.
Rostrum. Rostrum is another thing. It's another thing. A very easy name. I am sure at least once.
Speech desk.
No, it's not this. At least once you have heard this thing in your lifetime. Rostrum is another thing. It's not this. Altar. A-L-T-E-R. It's basically an altar. Well, the history of altar is the religious preacher at church. You all know that. The religious preacher, the brothers at church, they use this to preach their speech. To preach the people. Yes. Altar. I mean, well, hey, one more important thing she pointed out. What is the Bengali of this thing? In Bengali, what can we say this?
If we
Standing desk, maybe. Standing desk.
In Bengali?
Huh?
In Bengali,
we
standing
don't
desk.
know English, so we don't know Bangla.
Well, we do not know Bengali, that's right. Sorry to disappoint you, lady, but we do not know Bengali that much. No, really, definitely. What is the Bengali? I do not know. Really, I do not know. Because, do you know why there is no specific Bengali for this and why this is very much possible? Because in Bangladesh or in Bengal, we do not need that. It's not something that we need culturally.
Exactly.
It's not something that we need culturally.
This equipment has no connection with our culture.
See, he has got the right point. This
Outside,
equipment has
outside.
no connection with our culture. Our culture, we used to talk without anything. I mean, and we used to quarrel with each other. Okay, so let's talk about these things. Types of assessment. Formative assessment, number one. What does that mean, formative assessment? You already know that. So here, they said, conducted during the learning process to improve understanding. Formative, that means formation. Formative assessment, conducted during the learning process to improve understanding. That means class quiz, reflective journals, in-class polls. Polls means the election. Polls means the vote, basically.
Right.
How many of you think formative assessment is good? Maybe you, if I say, raise your hand. Yes, sir.
That formative assessment actually is
Informal.
in an informal way.
Which is taken in an
Then how
informal
it
way.
can be the quizzes or
It is not formal, basically.
Exactly,
Yes,
sir.
I-
The name is
Indeed.
formative.
It is not formal. Quizzes marks can never count in the final examination.
Then,
Oh,
then sir, how we can get our final marks that we have 10 marks on quizzes? That we-
Well, here quizzes means the in-class quiz. Well, the quizzes I take is never going to add your marks on the finals. I basically do what thing? Assessment. Sorry. Video. Hey, what have you done? Video? Presentation. Sorry. Yes, presentation. The presentation marks would be added. See, if I say, hey, let's do some quiz here today. So basically, that's the understanding. That means that basically to understand, to enhance your understanding, not for your final marks. No, it's not basically the classroom representation or the classroom activity that we can take marks from. Okay? Yes, we already know that, but within the classroom, informal doesn't mean that we will be doing that in Chairman Bari Mart, and we will be doing that under a banyan tree. No, informal means it will not add any marks to your transcript, because the main reason we are here sitting or standing, well, not standing, the main reason here we are sitting basically for marks for a certificate. That means formal context, right?
Right, sir.
Okay, the marks and certificate, and this thing, the quiz, the reflective journal, the in-class polls will not add any marks. Correct?
Correct.
Understood, everyone?
Understood, sir.
Great. So, the summative assessment evaluates learning at the end of instructional period. Evaluate learning at the end of instructional period, and that is basically going to grade you, give you marks,
This is
give
actually
you
a formal.
grades. Indeed. See, summative assessment, that means summation, the whole sum. See, hey, there's a saying called whole sum. You say wholesome thing, wholesome.
So it's highly related with evaluation.
Huh?
Highly related with evaluation.
Definitely, maybe, but evaluation is not basically for the students. Evaluation is for the whole system. Evaluation is for
educational
whole
process.
system. I mean whole system. Come on, evaluation is for
The whole
process. Whole system. Come on, do not say process. Say system. The whole system. Okay. But the assessment basically is for
Us, students.
learners, not students. Come on.
Oh,
Use good words.
Right
Use
now.
good words. Use sophisticated words, and please do not talk.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. So, summative assessment means summation, end of the term, end of the semester, end of the finals. That means it will give you grades. Grades, that means formal, because grades will lead you to the certification. But formative assessment, the in-class polls, the in-class quick quizzes will not give you grades. Okay, that's why we call it, yes sir?
Sir, verbal communication or teacher
Verbal
feedback in the
grades.
classroom
Verbal feedback.
may be added in formative
Oh, yes, but well, do you know why I skip that thing, verbal communication and verbal feedback? Because I do not give you the feedbacks in the classroom. I want to give the feedbacks at the end of the session, at the end of something you give me in written or
End of
yeah.
summative assessment.
Indeed. That is no. Even if summative assessment basically related to the numbers. Come on. Make it simple, take it easy. Summative assessment related to the numbers. Definitely grades, numbers. Formative assessment will never give you numbers. Done. But the feedback always come to everything. Yes, sir.
Sir, reward works actually in some.
Reward doesn't mean that I give you the number. Reward could be a chocolate.
Yeah.
Reward could be a chocolate.
It doesn't mean
Or
it's a
praise.
positive
Or
and
praise.
always doesn't mean that positive reward. It can be negative reward.
Definitely,
Or
negative
always
reinforcement,
influence our
negative-
scientific
Positive
method.
reinforcement and negative
We
reinforcement.
already talked about that. Yes, sir.
So summative assessment কিন্তু স্যার আমরা একটা instructional period আমরা
I would like you to ask it in English because we are already recording it. And if you want it in Bengali, then we can talk about after the
No problem. So
Yes, sir. Say.
at the end of an instructional period, what happened? We already judge in summative assessment. We judge what a student actually learned through the overall period. And
Okay.
not only for the grades, we can also judge his capability on the imposed syllabus
Based upon
based upon
the grades.
Yes.
Definitely. Based upon the grades. How can I know you? How can I know you without knowing your grades? If a teacher say, hey, one more important thing. Have you guys know? Please. Do you guys know that external examination thing? External,
Yeah.
internal, external. Do you know that?
Yeah.
Okay. In an internal, external, there is no one teacher is basically evaluating your grades or your copies. Two teachers will be assigned. One who taught you, internal teacher, that means I, myself, me. External teacher will be evaluating your skill. That means he or she has never taken a class of yours, but he or she will check your exam. Exam scripts. That's right. Exam papers or exam scripts, no problem. So basically, how she or he will know that this student is good or bad. Yes, I can know that because I am teaching you. I can know that she wants to sleep in this class, she wants to talk in this class, he wants to smile in this class. I know that, but she or he, the external examiner, the external teacher, will never know that because he or she hasn't encountered you guys.
True.
How could she know you are a good student, he's a good student, she's a good student? How could you know that? Or she or he know that?
By grades.
By grades. Done?
Yes.
See, everything is possible in this world. There are enormous possibilities. Okay, so summative assessment, you already know that. Evaluate learning and the instructional period, end-to-end exam, end of term exams, standardized tests, final projects. Okay, we already know that. Diagnostic assessment, that's one of the most important part here. We'll be talking about that now. Identifies existing knowledge, skills, and misconception. Entrance test. Reading proficiency diagnostic. Well, diagnostic test. Why do you know? Why does this test happen? Let me make it very clear to you. That's basically pinpointing out that if you are capable enough to do one thing or not. If you are capable enough to read this thing or to write this thing or to know this subject. Okay, these things basically. Diagnose means, okay, hey, one more important thing. From where we could hear this word diagnosis,
Medical term.
treatment, yes, exactly, treatment and medical terminology. What does they diagram? What does they diagnose? Sorry, I said diagram. What does they diagnose? They diagnose the exact problem of your particular part, the body. Identifies the problem to get the solution. See, diagnostic exams basically pinpointing out your problem or your efficiency level. It basically tests your one point or one particular subject proficiency. Okay, entrance exam. See, Dhaka University entrance exam, BCS entrance exam. What does the test basically? What does the test? They basically test, are you capable enough of doing this job, or are you capable enough of admitting into this particular department? That's why in the Dhaka University entrance exam, they used to keep rubrics that if you get less than 18 marks in English, you can never get, even if you got first, you stand first, you can never get law, English, economics. If you get less than 18 marks. Okay, if you get less than 16 marks in Bengali, you can never got Bengali or English. Okay, if you get less than 60% marks of general knowledge or aptitude, you can never get international relations, political science, law, English, and many subjects. But there are some subjects they do not keep any rubric. If you just pass, and if you just can get yourself into the admission list, the merit list, within the merit list you can get yourself in, you can have that subject. No problem. No, not Bengali. Urdu or maybe, yes, Pali and Buddhist studies, or some of the history also, even history also. Yes, there are some subjects. So that's how diagnostic assessment works. Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
Great. Yes. Okay, alternative assessment. Alternative assessment is one of the most beloved thing of mine. Alternative assessment is really very lucrative thing. Okay, there will be some similarities between alternative assessment and formative assessment. Alternative assessment, yes sir.
Yes.
Oh, sorry. So focus on real world applications and creativity. Okay. So alternative assessments also, it could be in the formal and particular context. It could be in non-formal or particular context. Formal and non-formal. By stating formal and non-formal, I only mean the
Formative and summative both.
numbers, the grades. Formal and informal means I only mean by that is grades or numbers. Okay? Because if, hey, just listen, if in this classroom there is no final exam, there will be no gradation, there will be no certification, is it a classroom then? No. It could be a seminar.
Yes.
It could be a seminar. Is it formal then? No, that could be informal. Will you come to this place then? Many of you never. Come on, this is the truth.
Yes.
This is the truth. You came here for certification.
True.
You came here for gradation.
True.
See, formal, informal. By stating formal, informal, I only mean the numbers and grades. Come on. Do not get hesitated by anything. Vision should be very clear. Okay. Alternative assessment is really great. That means it focuses on real world applications and creativity. Suppose I give you assignments which will add some numbers to the final examinations also. And the assessment is interview 10 rickshaw pullers of the Dhaka city. You will interview everyone. 10 rickshaw pullers, 10 hawkers, 20 people, and 10 service holders, any government or non-government, no problem. Any service holder, you can examine a full secretary or a lieutenant general, no problem. You can examine a bank clerk or a night guard, no problem. Any service holder, any rickshaw puller, any hawker. 30 people will be examined, and they will be examined how they got affected after the uprising of the July Revolution, or July whatever they say. I do not say it revolution, I just say it uprising, mass agitation. Okay, whatever, that's political issue, no problem. So you will be interviewing 30 people, and the result will be the effects on their lives. Then we could collect the data, then we could analyze the data. Which class of workers got much affected, which class of workers get less affected, which class of people get no effect at all, which class of people get good life after that uprising, which kind of people, which class of people got downgraded life after that agitation. See, if you do this assessment, then I will mark you then alternative assessment in a formal context. If I do not give you marks, then it could be also an alternative assessment, but informal context. Correct?
Yeah.
So alternative assessment is basically the real world situation. The education we are getting into this room, within the periphery, within the university campus, is basically not a real life situation. Real life situation is examining, interviewing everyone in this world, in this society. So that's called alternative assessment. Examples: portfolios, presentations, peer reviews, and the interviews also. These are things are alternative assessment carried out. Okay, so most important part now. From here, this slide is very much important. I can give you either short notes or broad questions from there. I can give you the short notes or the broad questions from here, this slide. Please be prepared, and please take your preparations accordingly for the finals. Oh, one more important thing. From February 4 to February 6th, also 7th, 1 week will be the presentation week. I will give you I'll give you the topics beforehand, or at the 1st February, the topics. Then you will be submitting your presentation with, obviously, mandatory PowerPoint, okay? And upload it, and you will be uploading it to the Facebook by 7th of February. Is that clear?
Yes.
Yes, I've said it on the record, so there's no miscommunication could occur. Okay, so let's try the next one, principles of effective assessment. Yes, this one. I think you already know that. Huh? No? Okay, then write it down. That's the most important part here for your understanding. Everyone, please write it down, everyone. That's the last slide today, maybe. Yes. See? That's the last slide. Yes. That will be the last slide of today's class.
Bengali meaning of this.
Yes, sir. Please enlighten us.
Vedic.
Huh?
Vedic.
No, not this one. This one.
Dias.
This one. Yes.
Dias.
If it called order, then it is in Bengali Vedic. Yes.
Okay. Order means busy.
Yes. Another synonym of it is dias.
That's definitely.
That's
The whole
dias
setting.
means the whole setting.
The whole
Exactly.
setting.
This thing.
The evaluation.
Podium kila eta?
Maybe. There are many words. There are many words. Okay, let's talk about that. Principles of effective assessment. That means how an assessment could be effective. Or how an assessment could become an effective one. Okay, that means how it creates an effect on us. Okay, so validity. That means one assessment should be valid, one assessment should be reliable, one assessment should be fair enough, one assessment should be practical enough, one assessment should be clear enough also. Let's talk about these things very specifically. Okay, validity. Does the assessment truly measures the intended learning objectives? For example, well, these words are quite self-explanatory, but I'll be teaching you by giving you the examples. Okay, the example. Does the assessment truly measures the intended learning objectives? Okay, I have taught you the alphabets. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L. Okay, so there's a test I'll be taking from this class. Okay, so which kind of assessment is it? Fill in the blanks. Which kind of test is this? Fill in the blanks. Okay, is it valid or not?
For this course, not valid.
Or not this course? I am teaching you alphabets.
Alphabets, yes, it is valid.
Is it valid or not?
It is valid.
See, it's valid. I am teaching you the alphabets. But still, I am teaching you the educational psychology. Is it valid or not?
No, invalid.
See, we all know the validation of an assessment. Okay, reliability. Are these results consistent across the different occasion or assessors? Well, the reliability basically based upon that is the are we taking an assessment and the results that basically we are carrying out are reliable or not? Okay, the example of this is basically online exam and offline exam. If we take you, see, I am giving you, I'm teaching you the alphabets. We do not know any alphabets of English.
Okay.
I have taught you the alphabets and I have given this fill in the blanks and I am taking you the exams online. Okay, so you guys can always Google and you can fill these things up even without knowing the answers. Okay, so the results or the outcomes, the results, that means the outcome. I am basically talking about that. Okay, the result which will come out, that means outcome, does it basically reliable?
No, it's not.
Because maybe you do not know A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, you do not know that, but you Googled it and you have written the right answers. So you can get full marks, but you do not know anything. That means the reliability of this test is not that much of a high.
Right.
See?
Yes.
Got it?
Got it.
Okay, fairness, everyone. Is the assessment equitable and free from bias? Well, from that we are basically talking about the assessment equitable or free from bias. If we take a test, okay, if we take a test, suppose we are taking a test about, okay, there's a question that in Bangladesh, sorry, not in Bangladesh, see, in the whole world we are taking one test, that should people be free from any kind of oppression? One question in this world. So everyone has to answer. Should people be free from any kind of political or any kind of military intervention or suppression? That could be a biased answer. There could be biased answer. There could not be one answer, because we are Bangladeshi, we are Muslims. In most of the cases, okay, we could write in favor of Palestinian Muslims also.
True.
Okay, but if you are an Israeli person, then maybe you could write from your own perspective, for your own people, even if you know that we are not doing something good, we are not doing something very well, still you will be writing in favor of your people.
Point.
Is this test could be fair and free from bias?
No.
No. There could be many answers. There could be many answers from many persons. Well, in Bangladesh nowadays, Khudro Nigroshti, Adivashi, there is a question, there is a roaming around question. So these questions are basically biased, because there are many interpretations from many point of views. Okay, so there's no possibility of giving or getting one answer. So if I want this topic to be held in my examination center, then the exam could not be a fair one. Okay, this exam could be failed to gain fairness. Is that correct?
Yes.
So done. Practicality. Is the assessment feasible and manageable within available resources? Well, that's the most easiest one, practicality. I want you guys to give your examinations, final examinations, not in the pen and paper. You guys, everyone should bring their own laptop. So is it feasible and manageable?
No, not for all.
Definitely. Maybe many of you do not have your laptop, or even if you have your laptop, you do not have that capacity to carry that to this place very easily. See?
Yes.
Many of us. So is it feasible? Is it manageable?
It's
No.
not.
Is it practical?
No.
No. The practical one is give you the paper, you will bring the pen, write it down, go home. See? Practicality.
Great.
Okay, clarity. Our expectations, instructions, and criteria clearly communicated. Well, in the exam, in the assessment, I have to give you the clear information that yes, you have to write these in the finals. These are prohibited to do. You can never talk within the examination center. You can never cheat. You should not do these. You should not do these. You should that. You should do that. These everything. That means instructions should be clear. Okay. The time. Okay. I have given to the question papers, but I have not stated the time. So you do not know how much time you left. Is it a valid exam then?
No.
Is it a valid exam then?
No.
No.
The clarity, that basically lacks of clarity. in that particular exam. So basically, principles of effective assessment, these 5 things are basically principles of effective assessment. And yes, this slide, this one particular slide is very important for your final examination also. Yes, you can know. Okay, so I think that's the end of today's session, formal session, and we could turn it off. Thank you.